Alrighty guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory Update 8 with Lone Debater 7. And today, we're going to be taking a look at expanding our factory by building out a copper sheeting build. Kind of the plan for this is we need to have copper sheet in order to construct all the pipes and some of the buildings required to build out a modular refined power factory. Since last episode, I went ahead and got a few milestones completed, getting us access to modular power as well as the requisites to build this. So like we need this carbon mesh in order to build a CO2 chimney and steam cooling tower. I went ahead and unlocked that research as well. I also went and did a little bit of exploration around the map and found a coal node, a caterium node, and a quartz node, and mined up enough to bring them back home. So we now have a pure caterium node filling up this box, pure coal filling up this box. This quartz node is still just an impure. Once this guy fills up a little bit more, actually I could probably upgrade it right now to a pure node in the back, but we'll deal with that off cam. Not a big deal, but that's kind of what we've done. The target is to throw our sheeting into this container up top. So not that one, but this one. And I want to put the factory up on this little platform up here. So I elevated it a couple ramps to kind of go over the top of this dune hill. We've got another one here that's a little bit higher up, so I could actually raise this up 3 levels, but I'm not too worried about it. I think probably what we'll do is we'll ultimately convert this last line into ramps. So with me saying that, I kind of want to like move this forward, but that's fine. I'll deal with that, later. Let's dive into the build. So kind of what we're looking at here, let's just take a look at numbers. So if I plonk down a constructor, a copper sheet, you get 10 per minute per constructor for 20 copper ingots. That means a normal iron node, which will give you 60 copper ingots, will support 3 copper sheet constructors, giving you 30 a minute. I went ahead and placed down a pure node, so we can do 60 sheets per minute, utilizing 120 copper ingots. So I already have the node placed. Here's our pure copper with our miner. We're getting 120 per minute out of this. So next step is we need to build some smelters. So for this, it's going to be similar to our refined plate build, where we are going to have 4 smelters required in total. So we're going to do a little bit the same as far as the placement goes. Just want to have them kind of centered in these blocks, these foundations, just to make everything look good more than anything else. Doesn't actually matter where these go. They're going to be set to copper, set to copper, set to copper, set to copper. Oh, and you might notice we're moving quite a bit faster. That is because I went ahead and unlocked the blade runners. I also unlocked the zipline from the caterium and the quartz that we picked up. So we've got our 4 smelters here, right? So next step of this is we need to split our ore that's coming out of this guy 2 times. And the reason why we're doing it 2 times is because 120 split once will give us 60 on each belt coming out. 120 split twice will give us 30 coming out on each belt. I can't just split this into each of them and then expect it to give me a perfect ratio. So I do need to utilize 2 splitters here. So I've got 1 splitter right here. The next splitter, we're going to have one like, how do I want to do this? So it'd be good to have a splitter here for these 2. And then really I'd like to have the next splitter over there. But what I think I'm going to do instead is I'm actually going to throw a splitter on top. And what I can do now is I can actually utilize the elevator, these conveyor lifts, off of this box onto this box. And actually they do need to be 1 gap in between in order to make that work. Actually, do I want to do that? I don't want to do that because it'll make the belts going into the last 2 a little bit not great looking. So I think instead we're going to do something like this. Now, I will probably utilize a conveyor lift here just to bring up 1 line this direction. And then the other line is going in this direction. This one's easy. This is not placed right. Shoot. Fix that real quick. Can I get that to place? Yeah. Should be able to. Boom. We'll get these first 2 set up first. They're easy. 1, 2. just so we know what we're dealing with. So we've got that. We're targeting this port of that splitter. So what I'm going to do here is bring it out right there. If I move out of the way, we can do something kind of like this. Easy enough. Now I'm going to connect this. This, and there we go. We got our smelters hooked up, easy peasy, not a big deal. I'm just gonna go ahead and put in some power so these guys are on the grid. And the reason why I'm doing this now is I am trying to get our power dealt with before we have, I don't want to have to go gather more biomass is basically what's driving this. I want to get into modular power sooner rather than later. I did have to expand some biomass. I moved them up there just to kind of support our production capabilities at trough. Right now we have actually we've got quite a bit of headroom right now. We're sitting with a couple hundred, but that will not last forever. We also have to manually fill in our, our biomass burners in order to keep that up and running. So not ideal, but that's fine. So kind of what this is going to look like as far as the logistics are concerned to feed our the constructors making the sheeting. We're going to actually merge each of these together and then split them to go into 3 constructors apiece. The reason why we're doing this is each constructor requires 20. If I merge 30 with 30, I get 60 on this outbelt, and then if I split it 3 ways, I will then have 20 to go into each constructor. Now we are kind of on the edge here, but that should be okay. If I place something, honestly, I'd prefer to have the splitter like right here for the first set of 3, and then that would leave the second set of 3 right here. Actually, this one needs to go over 1 further. It's going to be more like right here, right? So these can all be tier 1 belts. So that little squiggle is going to connect in our merger to our splitter. This squiggle is going to connect this merger into this splitter. Now, for the meat of the build, we're going to put down our constructors. So we're going to ultimately have 6 constructors. I want them on this platform. So we are going to do something like this. 1, 2, and 3. That's half of the build. 1, 2, 3. There's the other half of the build. Easy enough, right? So now, all we got to do is plug these guys into their respective splitters. Feed them with copper. We need to set the recipe still. That's fine. We can do that in a moment. It's okay. It just means that the resources will buffer up before we actually turn this thing on. So there's that. Let's go ahead and set these to make copper sheet. Copper sheet. Just do it for all 6. We should be getting 60 sheets a minute out of this build once it gets brought online. I also have to plug these constructors into power in order to get everything running. So let's do this. I think we will bring a line out here. Just connect 3 and 3. So this one I'd like to leave open. So I think we'll connect both of these on this back power pole actually. So we'll do something like this. Cool. Those are all up and running. Excellent. Now what I'm going to do here is I am going to merge all of these together. Just so we're only bringing 1 belt across the factory. So set this guy like right here. And I'm just going to use a merger for each constructor. Keeps the belt a little bit more compact. I won't have stuff sticking out on the side. It's kind of the motivator behind that. So let's go ahead and plug in the outputs of our constructors. Come on. Click into the merger, please. Thank you. And this is only going to be 60 sheet a minute, so I can definitely just use tier 1 belts, Mark 1 conveyor belts to move all this stuff together. There's no need for Mark 2. I could run Mark 2 out of the last splitter just to bring it into the box a little bit quicker, but I'm not too worried about that. I think instead Can I... Yeah, belt is too long. So what I'd like to do here, instead of bringing it down, just bring it back up. I'd actually like to keep it up at this height. And then just remove the conveyor pole. Will it reach from there? It will. So we've got kind of a weird little bend there, but that's okay. So now we've got our copper sheets being made, 16 minute, and feeding into our box. So fantastic. Slowly this box will fill up with copper sheeting, and we then will be set to go ahead and start building some of the water and refined power stuff that we're looking to get set up soon. I'm just going to drop those two in there. I don't need them on hand right this second. But yeah, anyway, guys, that's our build for copper sheets. Utilizing one pure copper node, you can get 60 sheets per minute. Now, if you were to overclock that drill, meaning the miner back there, or if you had tier 2 miners instead of just tier 1, you could actually expand this out, double it potentially to get 120 sheet per minute, etc., etc. But we only have Mark 1s, and I'm not looking to overclock those with our power shards at this point. Now, I think before we wrap up this episode, I am going to go over here and upgrade our quartz setup that is filling up our box of quartz. We're going to go ahead and upgrade that to a pure node, just so we are able to more reliably generate the stuff we need. Like, if we want to place down a bunch of quartz nodes at some point, which who knows, that might happen, it's better to have a pure node running that. So let's see. This is 8, 16, that's 20, 1, 2. We probably want one additional space, and I definitely need some refined plates on me. So we'll just drop off this stuff and come over here. What we'll do first is we're going to break this. We're going to break this. We can actually leave this line. We're going to upgrade that to tier 2 ultimately. But I need this impure quartz. And then I need another. So right now I've got... I can't drop that because I'm in the Ethereum box. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. There we go. That's enough to build a pure quartz node instead. So we'll go ahead and upgrade that. Boom. Grab another miner. Boom. Plug it back in. Then I need tier 2 belts to bring this into the box, just because we are pumping out 120 quartz per minute now. So fantastic, we got that upgraded. Pretty easy. I just kind of wanted to show you that's what I've been doing. So that's what I did with the coal. That's what I did with the Ethereum. Now I've got the quartz set up. So we are set up to build basically all of the different types of nodes. We do not have sulfur yet, mainly because I don't know where a node is for that. I haven't found one, and I don't have scanning available for me for sulfur yet. Same thing with sand ore. I don't have that. I guess we also don't have uranium or aluminum yet, but that's fine. We'll just continue to expand this ore collection facility as we unlock more stuff. But I think we're going to wrap up the episode here today. What I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to take a look. So out this way, I've started building out a little walkway, and ultimately this is going to be a platform over this lake. And I kind of want to build our modular power plant up in the air over this lake is kind of what the plan is. So I need water to place down our water extractors, right? So these can go there. I just can't afford it because I don't have any sheet in my inventory, right? So that's why we needed the sheet primarily. But place down some extractors to get the water. And then we're going to try to build a reasonably good-sized modular power plant. So these are quite expensive. Let's just take a look at the resources so you get an idea. It's mostly reinforced iron plate and modular frames is the cost for everything. So all the platforms take reinforced iron, some rods, and some modular frames. The turbines take modular frames, rotors, and reinforced iron. So do the generators. Those take copper coil as well. That's easy. Boiler, copper sheet, more modular frames, reinforced iron, more modular frames, reinforced iron cable. And then these take the carbon dust, which if we take a look at that, we can actually handcraft this. It's not too bad to set up a build for it. It's basically just coal ore processed through one line of constructors, but basically we need some carbon mesh. To get that, we need carbon dust, which comes from coal. So 2 coal gives you 5 carbon dust, and 10 carbon dust with some copper wires gives you 5 meshes. We only need a handful of those, so I'm not going to set up a dedicated build for making that quite yet. I think instead what I'm going to prioritize is just getting enough resources set up to build out a reasonably good power plant to basically supplement this biomass burner that we've got over here. I mean, realistically speaking, if I set up 2 of those low voltage turbines, that will be more power than what these 2, 4, 10, 12 biomass burners are generating. Each biomass burner does 30 megawatts, so that's about 360, if my math's right, megawatts being produced right here. So I really need, if I look at this, 150 each. I need to set up 3 low volt generators, which means I need to set up 3 turbines, which I think you can run 3 turbines off of just a single boiler. So we really are not going to need a super massive power plant just to replace what is not automated over here. But we do need to build it. So in between episodes, what I'm going to look at trying to do, I'm going to build out a bunch of modular frames by hand just because they take a while. They're 15 seconds per 2 that we craft. I could set up a build for this. They're not that difficult, but I'd rather wait until we have Mark III conveyor belts to do that, just so we could use our bolted iron plate alternate recipe that we have, because then one assembler makes 15 reinforced plates instead of 5. So I could have 1 assembler, and that would feed 5 assemblers making plates for a 10-a-minute modular frame build. So that's probably what we're going to look to do in the future. I want to get power sorted first, so yeah, that's kind of the plan going forward. So be sure to check in next time so you can see us put together our first modular power plant and kind of go over the ratios there. But if you enjoyed the episode today, be sure to like, comment, subscribe as always. And until next time, this has been Lone Debater 7, and we will see ya.